See, most business owners focus on growing an audience, but an audience isn't the same as a community. An audience listens, a community buys, stays, and grows with you. And that's the real secret behind a scalable, predictable revenue. So, want to understand what it is, what a community is truly from someone who has mastered the model? Well, Carol Tice has turned her blog readers into a thriving paid community that generated millions. I said that, millions. And now she teaches others how to do it in the same while living a full-time life on the road. So if you've ever wondered how to turn your expertise and audience into a recurring income, this conversation will open your eyes to what's truly possible on today's Profit with a Plan podcast. Hey, entrepreneurs, are you working too hard for too little profit? Well, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we help you scale smarter, increase profitability, and build a business that's worth more, whether you keep it or sell it. I'm Marcia, Riner, business growth strategist and the profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to turn their businesses into highly profitable and sale-ready assets, so they enjoy more income now and a bigger payday later. So join me for practical strategies, expert insights, and proven steps that make your business more profitable, more valuable, and built to last. Today's episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. But before we dive in, I've got something special for you. If you are tired of flat revenue and marketing that just doesn't seem to pay off, the new Profit Booster Growth Map might be for you. In just a few minutes, it'll show you exactly how to bring in more qualified clients and plug those profit leaks that are eating away at your cash. So get your growth profit map at profitbooster.biz and start turning missed revenue into real money. All right, let's jump into today's episode. My guest today is the master of creating a following of raving fans that pay to be part of her community. Carol Tice is a longtime journalist who has turned her blog audience into a thriving paid community, one that went on to generate more than $6 million before she sold it in 2021. Now, through her latest venture, the Community Growth Academy on Skool, she is helping coaches, experts, passionate creators to do exactly the same she did. Build a profitable community that runs on connections, not consistent content. And the best part, she's doing it all while traveling full-time across the country with her husband in their RV. That's living proof that you can really design a business around the life you want. Carol, welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast.
Thanks for having me, Marcia. I can tell this is going to be really fun already.
I think so too.
I want to add like one thing to what you said about community. They don't just stay and pay, they participate. They are part of the value of what you're building as an asset is their participation. That's huge. So I just want to throw that in and off the top.
No, that is really good, and a piece that really brings people to you, because I mean, we were speaking off camera and I said people don't want to be sold to, they don't want to buy, they want to be part of something. And when they participate, as you said, they really truly become a raving fan and part of it because they're experiencing it and helping and getting. And I think the community idea is fantastic. But before we go down that path, because I know we can probably talk for a couple of hours on that, you mentioned in the introduction that you were a journalist. How did you transition journaling and writing a blog into really creating a community from a blog?
I was the journalism kind of, not journaling, but
okay.
I was a journalist. I had 12 years of staff jobs.
I thought I said journalist. Freelance. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It all kind of rolled along. So I got fired because in a budget move, I believe, back in 2005. And I knew it was coming. I was like totally expected. The editorial stuff had turned over and new editors, and I was highly
We know the
paid, and
management shift usually happens.
yeah, I kind of knew, but I had a bar mitzvah to pay for, so I was kind of hanging in. But it all worked out. But I, started freelancing, and I discovered that while I had been staff writering for a physical paper publication, blogs had been born and were happening. And I was like, wait a minute, you mean like I just have the publish button and I can just write and there's no gatekeeper? I'm in. So I started blogging about what I knew, which was freelance writing. What had happened was during the '09 downturn, I had driven my business to six figures as a freelance writer. And it was slowly coming to my attention that other freelance writers were not experiencing that they were working for $5 an article for content mills, and bad things were happening and people were broken. This made me very mad, and I wanted writers to stop getting ripped off, was basically the genesis of my blog, Make a Living Writing, which you can still see today. And I just started building an audience around it. And my business model idea was like I would write one book that would answer all the questions, and then it would sell a bazillion copies and I'd be rich. And like that was so it wasn't a lot of I didn't know a lot, obviously. And I had been on the editorial side. I am not a marketing person. I don't come out of marketing. And that would end up playing a lot into the path I took in entrepreneurship. I knew a lot about running a business from talking to business owners for 12 years. I was a business journalist. And what I saw was that writers were not taking a very business attitude towards their businesses. They were all, I'm following my muse. I'm writing what I feel like. And I'm broke, but I don't know why, so that was my secret sauce, was bringing that business kind of discipline. You need to do regular marketing, actually proactively try to go get the people you want. This was all new news for a lot of these people. And so, the blog was really successful. Some influencers noticed it and it started to get a lot of traffic. And then to make it a better blog, I joined a paid community for bloggers. And the minute I got in this and started looking at the trainings they had and the conversations that were going on, I was like, this is amazing. I love it. And I have so many questions, and now I'm getting them all answered. And, I'm telling people things I know. And there's nothing like this for freelance writers, and there should be. And so then I just kind of sat with that because I knew that putting up paid community back in 2010 was a much more complex process than running a blog. I had learned how to do my blog, on WordPress, and I'm not a naturally tech savvy person, but like I can learn things. I'd gotten the hang of that. I knew it was going to be way more complex, and I feel like that was kind of holding me back. And then I went to a conference put on by the late Liz Strauss, the Successful Online Business Conference in Chicago. And she specialized in bringing incredibly inspiring people as a Limit 100 event. So you really got to know a lot of people. There were a lot of really high-powered bloggers there that I got to meet. And I came home and went, I have to stop musing about this and put the hammer down and launch it. Is the thing. There's no like other magical point where like I have to just do it. I know there's a need for it. And I have an audience for it. And I started surveying my audience. If you had a community, what would you want in it? What can I provide for you? What kind of topics are the biggest ones for you? What would you pay for that? And I basically built it out of the survey. And everyone who took the survey, I got about 100 responses. And everyone who took it, yeah, that's sort of my goal with my students now. I'm like, get 100. That everyone who took it got a discount membership offer that lasted as long as they stayed in continuously, and some of those people stayed in forever. They never left because they didn't want their price to go up. And we opened the doors and grew to about 500 members pretty organically off my list.
Wow.
And before I launched it, I thought my goal was, I thought 500 members would like solve all my life problems financially. Then I learned how much of a we were kind of stuck at 500. It wasn't going up
Mm.
from there. And that was sort of my first sort of hitting the wall point. And I talked to some mentors of mine who run a lot of programs, and they were like, well, the thing is that you're open all the time, and you kind of need to close the doors and
Yeah.
be exclusive and only be open sometimes. And I had definitely seen programs like that where they were like, we open this once a year for 3 days, and
The
I was
scarcity model. Yes.
right, the scarcity model. So we didn't go quite that much, but we were not open a lot. We
Mm.
finally closed the doors, which I was completely terrified to do. And that drove it to 1,000 members. We went to a
Wow.
kind of a quarterly model. We would launch a course, and that would, or we would just do a regular membership open about 4 or 5 times a year. And the rest of the time we were closed. It really needed to happen also just so you could concentrate on serving members instead of
Yeah.
continually onboarding everybody all the time. It's sort of an administrative problem also. So
Well, I
it
think
was good.
courses, I think communities as a whole can be quite a challenge. I love how you shared your story, how you went from, 0 to 500 and then hit a wall and then made it from 500 to 1,000, and so on before you were able to continue to grow that and sell that. So thank you for that. That's actually a really cool story of how we've taken something that we were passionate about and turned it into a business, which if many of the entrepreneurs are listening to this, we've all kind of done that, right? You saw a problem and you thought, I can fix this, right? But what we never knew, and you experienced in your story, was how to really turn that into a business and the roadblocks that you hit along the way. So I know you didn't wake up and just magically have followers. So you had to do that marketing and everything, and it was crazy. But let's go back to the community itself, right? Because I know your stories are just so engaging and you draw me in and I can listen to them forever. But let's go in and talk about the kind of thing that is available now to folks and how easy it is compared to what it was before.
People, it's amazing. It is so easy to do paid community now. What happened to me was after I sold, after getting stuck again at 1,000 and then getting some business consulting, ramping it to 1,500, which I figured out was kind of my sell number, below which it wasn't going to make sense to sell, but I really wanted to sell because I was really burnt out because I've been doing it for 12 years, which most people who found these kind of things are like out in 18 months.
I was
They're
going to say that's a lifetime that you
so
went on.
wrong.
My podcast here actually turned 7 in January, and
Woohoo.
that is like a lifetime, right? So I get it at only half the time. People
Yeah.
drop out, they give up. They give up too soon, which is
A lot of
heartbreaking.
people, yeah, aren't really that invested. For me, it was kind of a cross between a business and a hobby gone mad because I really loved these writers and wanted them to succeed and just wanted to fight back against, it was sort of half business model, half I'm a crusader against writer scams and for fair writer pay, kind of combined. And also having covered business, I wanted to be a really good CEO. So I was paying my team really well.
Nice.
I made American jobs, and that was really important to me. So if my only goal had been to just make as much money as I could have out of it, I could have made a lot more money go in
Mm.
my pocket of the gross. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm making enough money. And I also want everyone on my team to make a lot of money. That was just my vision of how I wanted to do business, which is sort of my
Hmm.
big mantra is it's your business. People are always saying to me, is it okay if I do this, that to my business? And I'm like, it's your business. You don't need anyone else's permission. And really this all flew in the face of, every coaching guru out there who's like, you need a $10,000 offer. I was like, ew, I don't want to sell that. That's and then I'm only going to help 12 people in a year. And
Hmm.
I want to help the people. I want to help all the
Right.
people, like hundreds and thousands of
So what
people.
was your price point then? If you weren't at a $10,000 offer and your community, what was your price point on your community?
It's $25 a month,
Oh
no
my gosh.
obligation, leave anytime.
That's fantastic. No wonder it's a no-brainer, right? It's
Exactly.
that entry level. But once they get inside, there's many more opportunities for you to upsell them and enroll them into different programs if you choose, right?
There were, and I didn't do any of them for a long time. Eventually, I did a mid-career coaching program, and we started to make members pay if they wanted to take classes. They had to pay an extra $100 if they were going to take it live with the expert and get the homework feedback and stuff. To make them commit, and because my business consultant pointed out that I was probably leaving some money on the table there.
Just a little
And
bit.
yeah, so you could join as a non-member, and pay $350 for that class, or as a member, you got a big discount.
Oh, that's
Is the
fantastic.
model we eventually went to, and yeah, that worked really well. And our spiel was, we need to know who's going to show up, like 5 people, 500 people. We need to plan for our staff here. So the money makes you commit also, and makes you actually do it.
Exactly. So
So
so let's go back. Let's go back to the difficulty. Um, More so the ease now versus the difficulty that you had in the past with the maybe the technology or creating this, because where do you send people? You can't just send them to a Facebook group, right? Are your podcast guest appearances leading to real business, or are you just hoping that listeners will take action? With the Profit Booster Podcast Monetization Hub, we turn your interviews into lead generating machines so that you capture, nurture, and convert listeners into paying clients. So stop leaving money on the table and get started today at profitboosterpod.com.
I have a friend who just lost her Facebook group yesterday. They just randomly
Oh
banned her.
no.
Definitely, please do not start a Facebook group if you take anything away from this call.
Yes, with the
Don't
current
do that.
problems.
Oh my gosh. You are not in control of your business. They can do anything. They can I was part of the thing recently where all the LinkedIn recommendations disappeared off of LinkedIn. Boom.
Wow.
It was part of the
Wow.
Amazon server problem.
Oh
Thankfully,
my gosh.
they came back. It was like heart attack city. I knew people with hundreds of them
Mm.
gone.
So that's really scary. So when we're
Yeah.
developing when we're developing this community, because I think your story has now convinced everybody how great a community can actually be. Now how do we do that, right? Is there do we I
So
mean,
here's the difference
is
here's the 2011 one was hire a webmaster and pay them many thousands every month to keep things from
yes,
breaking.
yes.
The 2025 model is Skool now has a $9 a month level, and that covers everything, every feature you could ever want. It all works. It's all coordinated. You don't have to worry about plugins breaking each other, or it's insane how low the barrier to entry
And I
has
think
become.
that's the golden thing right there. That's the nugget that you don't have to hire and do, because like you said, the 2011 version, you had to hire, you had to create, you had to develop, you had to invest a whole lot of time, energy, and effort. It wasn't as easy as just recording a video and uploading it. Where now, oh my gosh, you can go live with a click of the button, or you can upload a video or upload a document without any headaches at all. Like,
Yeah. And all of
yeah,
these, like Facebook, where you're just having one long conversation, it's like, what if
which
I
things
want to
get
go
lost.
back to a category of information that I'm interested in? How would I ever find it? It's not actually giving good member service. It's not very
Yeah. Well,
accessible.
I
And
don't think it
where
was
are you keeping your
designed.
resources? And yeah,
It
it
wasn't
wasn't designed for those.
Yeah, it wasn't designed for that. I mean, it became a community for everybody to go on, but yes, the searchability and to go back and find those really, helpful tips that you had wanted a day and a half ago, you're spending
It's
45 minutes
gone.
trying to find it, right?
Yeah, it's just totally gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, just now we have, Skool, which I'm loving, and Circle and Kajabi and
There's
Teachable, and
several communities that you can buy.
platforms that were born with paid community structure in mind. They are designed to facilitate paid community. That's all they do. On Skool, they're like announcing a new feature about every week. They are just building it up, and it's like the back end is over. You no longer, I used to spend hours in meetings, and nothing.
So
You just run your
think
community. You just put it up and pull the
I
trigger
think
and run
that
your
in its
community.
sense tells you, community or audience, that paid communities are real. And people are lining up, waiting for that quarterly open that you mentioned to jump in because there's something behind a wall or a curtain that they want to see, but they can't see it. And they're looking and they're hearing about it from the other people that are participating, especially if you're putting in good stuff. And you, as the leader of your community, you want to lead with value, right? So, what kind of stuff do you put inside of the community to make it be so engaging?
Marcia, that's such a good question. And the answer is what my people tell me to put in there. The way people do communities that die is they sit in a corner by themselves and they go, I know about this. So I'll create a course about this, and then I'll wrap it in a community and I'll get people to join. And I will do all of this hidden in a closet, and I will not tell anyone I'm doing it or ask them what they think of it or the name of my community or my brand colors or anything, or test out different bait pieces or ask them what would be useful. And then poof, I'll pop it out and then nothing happens.
Ta-da! They're going to come pay you lots of money, right?
Yeah, I will build it and they will come. No,
Mm.
no, no, no. Yeah, the whole win of my first community was that I so involved my blog readers in what I was doing and thinking about. And my my favorite was, because we're writer people. I did a post about should it be Freelance Writers Den apostrophe S apostrophe, or no apostrophe, 100 comments.
Oh my goodness,
The
because you're talking the language of your
We
audience.
care about these kind of things.
Oh my
So very
goodness.
deeply. And the correct answer is headlines do not have to be grammatical, no apostrophe, which, URLs don't have them. So also solved a problem. But now
Wow.
100 people are involved already in, like, oh, what should this be? Building this in public is where it's at. You want to tell everyone, show them everything, say if I was going to give you a free report, what would it be about? What would be the absolute have to have it topic that you want from me? The more you just ask instead of living in kind of a bubble and having covered
Mm.
like the tech bubble and a lot of startups who were getting investor money around then. I know it's really common for people to kind of not want their little dream to meet daylight. Because they're afraid the bubble will
We're
pop.
afraid. And we're
Yeah,
afraid.
they're afraid
Definitely.
everyone will go, that's a dumb idea.
So let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
you
In
should.
your 12 years, right?
Uh-huh.
Did you have to step in front and create that kind of authority first? Because if you're asking people to join your community and they think they're going to get the right answers from you, did you have to be the authority first? I mean, what if you're a no name?
Well, I guess I kind of felt like I was. I mean, I'm like the world's tiniest micro celebrity that ever was. Um, I know what I know, and
Mm-hmm.
I know to say, I don't know. Let me look into that. If I don't know, I mean, as long as you don't make stuff up. The thing about being, I
Right.
think people
But you
have
didn't
this.
have thousands of followers before you opened the community, did you?
The blog had like about 700 subscribers. That's where
Okay,
we were at.
so the blog
But
you
not
wrote
a
first,
huge,
and that
that's a
created your
pretty,
authority, and
right.
then you shifted to the community.
But in the great scheme, that's a pretty tiny list. There's people with
I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
100,000 lists and
Yes,
but it was a highly engaged list. So, that's always a factor. But,
exactly.
shoot, I lost his train of thought there.
No, that's
Um,
okay. I have that magic skill today, so don't even worry about that. But with your blog post, right, and creating that authority, you did it because you added value in the blog post and people enjoyed your reading, and from there you shifted into the community. You didn't just turn on a switch and, like you said, build it in a dark corner and hope that people are going to come when you turned it on, right? You had
right.
some groundwork.
Yeah, no, I was posting in social media and posting blog posts about it and, taking a survey and promoting it and
I like it.
finding out. And so what you do is, you sneak things out from behind the firewall. There's this one report we just did. Right now, I have some YouTube videos that have been on the Community Growth Academy channel that have been snuck out of the community for people to check out. So you give them some tastes of the level of what is in there. But I think the big thing people miss about being a community founder is it does not mean you need to know everything about
Thank goodness.
everything. It does not. You know what you know, and you have a passion for this topic. You have some success at it, at doing it the way you've done. But once what you really are is a facilitator. You are facilitating this community that's learning how to do a thing or whatever, or supporting each other with a thing. And I had many guest presenters in the
Mm,
den, and this is one of the things you want to do when you're making it
in
a
the
saleable
den. Is that
asset.
what you called it? The
Yeah,
den?
of course. And the
I
members were
love it.
the denizens, of course.
The den. So you created an avatar of something they wanted to strive for too. That's fantastic.
Exactly. But you want to show that you're not the only expert they will encounter in there. It's not me, blah, blah, blah. That's not a community model. The community
Right.
model is if I am hearing from you guys that you want to learn how to write white papers, I'm going to go find the best white paper writing expert and have them present a course. And I'll like host them. I will be their wingman on the calls and, feed them questions but yeah, it's not about presenting yourself as like the be all and end all. Another thing we did a lot in the den was we had members present who turned
Mm,
out to have expertise in like how to do resume writing in the modern age for clients and
sure.
things. I'm a freelance writer, but that doesn't mean I write like every kind of freelance writing in the universe. I
Right.
definitely don't. So, I had a strength in informational writing
Okay.
and other people had strengths in copywriting and in how to market a freelance writing business that
Sure.
we brought on to present like people I'm, friends with to this day, people I think are great. And that to me is more the secret sauce is like there's a whole world of like expertise in here. And then there are other people supporting my journey, not one of these courses on Teachable that I'm taking by myself. And there's no one else to talk to. And,
Mm,
I'm stuck with this. What are you doing? There's no way to get supported through the transformation you're trying to make. And I just think we all need so much support now.
I
Um,
agree.
who wants to do more things alone?
Well, and
You've
that's
been
what I was
alone
thinking
enough.
too. How much content are you feeding into the community? But I think it's not necessarily how much content, but the right kind of content that engages conversation, right?
Well, the quantity is another thing you ask them. How often do you want this to happen? Is doing this 3 times a week overwhelming you and you'd rather we did it once? Yeah, this once again, it's just you totally just give the people what they want. That is
Love
all.
it.
It is not complicated.
I
If
think
every
I
time
think
you
you're
get in your
making it
head and
so.
say, I know, I'll do this, you're probably going down a dark road. You
So
need to ask people.
do you allow the participants to post content or just
Yeah, yeah,
engage?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it becomes a whole like opportunity for everybody to throw things in there. Hey, just created this document. What do you think, right?
Well, we're collaborating right now in Community Growth Academy on some resource lists. We were like, who do you follow to learn how to do LinkedIn marketing and to do podcasting really well, to do DM permission based, direct messaging. Um, and everyone in the community is saying, "Oh, I'm into this person. and so we're all learning like who's the top person I should follow for whatever type of marketing I'm going to do.
I love it.
It's
So
just,
it's not just me talking, it's me engaging and getting them to participate and others are participating. And I think that's really what makes the community a community is that everybody has a voice. And if you have a question, ask it here on this thread, right? And if I can't answer it, somebody else will. It gets that engagement going and you're not in the silo of Teachable taking a class going, did I miss something?
yeah, it's a transition for some coaches and experts that it's not about you just coaching one-to-many. It is that, but it's so much more than that.
I love
You
it.
know, you lean into your expertise when it's relevant, but when it's not, you're sourcing other stuff for them. Sometimes, yeah, people in the community have turned up really interesting, good stuff for us. And you see other people succeeding and you stay inspired that our people are relatable like you, not the coach who's sort of lofty and far above you, but another person who's at your point in the journey. You see them succeeding. I'm a big fan of accountability buddies, and we try and get people paired up and calling each other every week.
Nice.
And recently I went to Europe and got to meet several of my Freelance Writers Den people who I've known forever. And you make like friends.
I
It's
love
very
it.
different than teaching.
I love it.
And some of them were still talking to their accountability buddies that they got.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's encouraging. So let me ask you one final question on here. So when we're dealing with this kind of community, how much time, energy, and effort do you put into the community on a weekly basis?
This is another amazing question because the answer is however much you decide you're going to.
So you could be all in or you could be just sprinkle here and there, right?
Absolutely. I know people who are just totally oversharing. In my view, they are just on all the time. And, first to answer every question, I actually believe that's bad for community building.
Mm,
But our first member to launch is a guy who's 80 and is a longtime financial manager. And he goes on like month-long international trips. And he has a couple people he delegates things to, and he's out. When he gets back, he's in all the time. He's answering things. But the thing about community versus coaching is you can actually walk away. You can delegate. I know. Oh my gosh. And yeah, you can kind of decide. Actually, that 80-year-old guy delegated the whole build out and launch and marketing of the community. He didn't do
wow.
any of that himself because he doesn't
Wow.
know anything about it. He's used to being a money investor and word of mouth. People are coming to him. He's never done anything online. And he just found a marketer and had her do it all.
Partnered up.
So,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, we used to get volunteer moderators, give them a free membership and have them answer
Sure.
some questions. And then you can do trade outs because you have
Oh, I
something
love it.
that's usually valuable to the member, but basically costs you nothing to give them.
Right. And
So
then you're not alone trying to keep this thing going on your own. You have actually active
yeah,
participants who are the key people, the B team, right? That goes out and helps you with everything on there. I think that's a
yes,
fantastic model.
you want those peers answering. That
Love
is,
it.
it's better for
Wow,
everyone.
Carol, we can talk on this subject for days. I
I
know
could.
it's so good. It's so juicy. It's so easy to get into right now. And, if you get the community going, it starts to run on its own engine, right? And like you said, you jump in when you want to, you jump in when you don't, or you don't jump in when you don't. It seems like a great way to build a following that when you do have an offer, you have a place to present the offer and you've got people that love you and will have a better kind of opportunity to buy your offer without really having to sell. So
Well, and
I like that.
obviously $25 thing easier to sell than $10,000 thing.
Exactly.
Using the power of low pricing to drive mass adoption means you impact more lives, which was really important to me.
Exactly.
And yeah, less marketing and more flexibility to just make it what you want it to be.
I love it.
That was all really a fit for me.
And I think that's it. You can make it what you want, right?
Yeah.
It becomes your footprint, your legacy on there. Well,
Yes,
Carol, this
and
is
it's a saleable asset.
right, because if you get a huge enough following, the right audience of people that are in there that are active and participating, this is something that's very attractive to buyers. So
It sure is. Yeah.
definitely,
Recurring
definitely, I
revenue.
like you. I like the way you put the spin on that at the end. That was great. We could talk for days on this subject. It's so
Totally.
juicy. So wow. Well, Carol, where can listeners find out more about you and your community so they can start to experience what it feels like to be part of a community and then maybe launch their own?
It's at Community Growth Academy on Skool. If you go to the About page, you can see some videos that kind of walk you through even more kind of in a deep way what paid community is all about, what the advantages are. There's some success story videos on there. And there's a link to the free case study, which is an in-depth, a lengthy case study on how I built and sold Freelance Writers Den. So if you want
Lovely.
the total lowdown on that, that is just a click away over there.
So do you have to be a paid user on Skool to be able to access this, or is there any kind of free trial that you can get to kind of poke around and see if it's something you want to go further in?
I don't know. I joined by starting my community. I don't think you have to pay to exist to browse around on Skool, and there's a lot of free communities on Skool.
Okay.
And at the moment we're speaking, there's a 1-week free trial offer on my community. So hop on in, give us a tour. Yeah, just ask your questions. And I'm doing an onboarding call myself right now with everyone because we're still just sort of beta launching, and I'm really wanting to listen and hear more about why people are coming in, what do they need, so I can build it.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Love
Hop
it.
in and let's chat about your community ideas. We have a whole system for figuring out your best one and everything. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well, hopefully you'll see my little face or my voice in there. And I think it's a fantastic idea and an incredible opportunity to learn from the master. So thanks a bunch.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you picked up some valuable insights and actionable ideas that will help make your business more profitable. And I know having different streams of awareness or opportunity for your people, your audience, your ideal client profile, that they can get closer to you, right? You know, there's lead magnets, there's social media, there's websites, there's, blogs, or there's communities. And by having that one more lane that they can come into that they're comfortable with, it's going to open the door to more profitability and more opportunities than you ever imagined. So I really highly encourage you to go visit Carol at her community and start to learn and see if this might fit in for your business. All right, before we go, if you're ready to bring in more clients and keep more of the money you earn, then go grab your free Profit Booster Growth Map. It pinpoints the top 3 moves to grow your revenue and stop profit leaks fast. So get yours anytime at profitbooster.biz. And while you're at it, subscribe. You don't want to miss future shows. You can always catch Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast platforms. We're looking forward to more profitable information on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thank you so much, Carol. This was fun.
This has been a blast. Thanks.